Unit 7. Number 1. Imbued. To fill something or someone with a particular feeling, quality, or idea. For example, his poetry is imbued with deep religious feeling. Number 2. Interpret. To decide what the intended meaning of something is. For example, it's difficult to interpret these statistics without knowing how they were obtained. A jury should not interpret the silence of the defendant as a sign of guilt. To express your own ideas about the intended meaning of a play or a piece of music when performing it. For example, if Shakespeare's plays are to reach a large audience, they need to be interpreted in a modern style. To change what someone is saying into another language. For example, we had to ask our guide to interpret for us. Interpretation. An explanation or opinion of what something means. For example, it's difficult for many people to accept a literal interpretation of the Bible. Number 3. Stem. A central part of something from which other parts can develop or grow, or which forms a support. It also means the part of a word that is left after you take off the part, which changes when forming a plural past tense. For example, from the stem SAV, you get saves, saved, saving, and saver. The small part on the side of the watch, which you turn to change the position of the pointers on the watch, or to make the watch operate. The main supporting structure at the front of the ship. Stem used as a verb means to stop something unwanted from spreading or increasing. For example, these measures are designed to stem the rise of violent crime. To stop the flow of a liquid, such as blood. For example, she tied a handkerchief around the wound to stem the flow of blood. Number 4. Excursion. A short journey usually made for pleasure, often by a group of people. For example, this year's annual excursion will be to Lincoln. A short involvement in a new activity. For example, a teacher by profession. This is her first excursion into writing. Number 5. Fulfillment. When someone does something that is necessary, or something that they have wanted or promised to do. For example, for many women, the fulfillment of family obligations prevents the furtherance of their career. A feeling of pleasure because you are getting what you want from life. For example, she finally found fulfillment in motherhood. Full. Holding or containing as much as possible or a lot. Filled. For example, this cup is very full, so be careful with it. Number 6. Ungratified. For example, the warrior passed with her with rose and died soon after, ungratified in his wish of striving another blow at Lesman. Gratify. To give pleasure to a person by satisfying his desires and humoring inclinations or feelings. 7. Hostility. When someone is unfriendly or shows that they do not agree with or like something. For example, they showed open hostility towards their new neighbors. Fighting in a war. For example, hostilities began just after midnight. Hostile. unfriendly, and not liking or agreeing with something. For example, the president has a hostile reception in Ohio this morning. Number 8. Preceding. Existing or happening before someone or something. For example, the paintings are a development of ideas she explored in the preceding decade. Precedent. An action, situation, or decision which has already happened and which can be used as a reason why a similar action or decision should be performed or taken. For example, there are several precedents for promoting people who don't have formal qualifications. Number 9. Disguise. To give a new appearance to a person or thing, especially in order to hide its true form. For example, we tried to disguise the fact that it was just a school call by putting up colored lights and balloons to hide an opinion or a feeling, etc. For example, I couldn't disguise my disappointment. Something that someone wears to hide their true appearance. For example, he put on a large hat and glasses as a disguise and hoped no one would recognize him. If people, objects, or activities are in disguise, they appear to be something which they are not, especially intentionally. For example, she usually goes out in disguise to avoid being bothered by the public. Disguised, having an appearance that hides the true form. For example, in Shakespeare's play Twelfth Night, Duke Orsino falls in love with the disguised Viola. Number 10. Manifest. To show something clearly through signs and actions. For example, the workers choose to manifest their dissatisfaction in a series of strikes. Easily noticed or obvious. For example, manifest relief. Manifestation, a sign of something existing or happening. For example, she claimed that the rise in unemployment was just a further manifestation of the government's incompetence. Number 11. Latent. Present, but needing particular conditions to become active, obvious, or completely developed. For example, recent development in the area have brought latent ethnic tension out into the open. Lately, recently. For example, I haven't been feeling so well lately. Number 12. Distort. To change something from its usual, original, natural, or intended meaning, condition, or shape. For example, my original statement has been completely distorted by the media. Distortion. For example, a gross distortion of the facts. Number 13. Realm. An area of interest or activity. For example, her interests are in the realm of practical politics, a country ruled by a king or queen. For example, the matter was hotly debated in all the tongue of the realm. Really, very or very much. For example, she's really nice. Number 14. Inspiration. Someone or something that gave you ideas for doing something. For example, the golden autumn light provided the inspiration for the painting. He went to church, perhaps seeking divine inspiration. A sudden good idea, for example. He had an inspiration. Why not apply for some government money? An example which people admire. For example, she has been an inspiration to us all. Inspirational, making you feel hopeful or encouraged. For example, he gave an inspirational reading of his own poems. Number 15, spontaneous, happening or done in a natural, often certain way, without any planning or without being forced. For example, his jokes seemed spontaneous, but were in fact carefully prepared beforehand. Number 16, undulating, describing or having small hills or slopes that look like waves. For example, I love the gently undulating hills of the dells, moving gently up and down. For example, undulating waves. Undulate. For example, there's no need to be unduly pessimistic about the future. 17. Truncate, to make something shorter or quicker, especially by removing the end of it. For example, television coverage of the match was truncated by a technical fault. 18. Dissolve, to be absorbed by a liquid, especially when mixed, or to absorb a solid. For example, dissolve 2 spoons for powder in warm water. To end an official organization or a legal arrangement. For example, Parliament has been dissolved. Dissolution, the act or process of ending an official organization or legal agreement. For example, the dissolution of Parliament. Number 19, elude, if something that you want eludes you, you do not succeed in achieving it. For example, the gold medal continues to elude her. To not be caught by someone. For example, they eluded the police by fleeing. If a piece of information eludes you, you cannot remember it. For example, I know who you mean, but her name eludes me. Elusive, difficult to describe, found, achieve, or remember. For example, the answers to these questions remained unelusive as ever. Number 20. Activated, to make active, cause to function or act. For example, he is activated to play soccer. 21. Glitzy, having a fashionable appearance, intended to attract attention. For example, he celebrated his birthday at a glitzy party in Beverly Hills. Number 22. Intriguing, very interesting because of being unusual or mysterious. For example, an intriguing possibility or an intriguing question. Intrigue, to intrigue someone a lot, especially by being strange, unusual, or mysterious. For example, throughout history, people have been intrigued by the question of whether there's intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. Number 23. Aggression, spoken or physical behavior, which is threatening or involves harm to someone or something. For example, some types of dog are bred for aggression. Forceful playing in sport that is intended to win points. Aggressive, behaving in an angry or violent way towards another person. For example, men tend to be more aggressive than women.